Hey there, everybody. It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. And speaking of friends, the $50,000 man, my newest rich friend, came in second in a big FanDuel tournament last weekend. Trevor, trusting Trevor Hillstrom. Congratulations. It's awesome.
Well, thanks. A lot of mind changing went into it. I was off Gibbs for the longest time. I texted earlier in the week that I was going to be off Gibbs. I was off the game for the most part. Then I had to give Willie Walls a little bit of credit here. Bijan was going to be 100% in my lineup, and so was Dobbs. And I went over Friday Night Lights again on Sunday morning. I thought, I better listen to Willie and get Gibbs in all my lineups and then take Jefferson off. So I went off of Jefferson and went to Gibbs, and that really paid off. And then DFS Hero really helped me out too with a few extra guys like Drake London and Jacoby Myers and Sutton.
And then, you know what, as you're such a big Vikings fan, but that you faded your favorite team in a game that was supposed to be a 60-point game that failed to meet expectations. I mean, that was a stroke of genius.
Well, as a lifelong Viking fan and big games, my team chokes. So I had the choke factor. I just had a feeling at the end there that I had a really good feeling about Minnesota all week, and then Sunday it went to Detroit and Gibbs.
So what was the contest that you were in?
It was the $5 entry, 150 to the first place. Or no, it was a $15 entry. And because I've been up so much,
was it the big one? Was it the millionaire one?
Yeah, the price was lower this week. Usually it's a $250,000 top prize, and this week it was $150. Wow. I was 1.9 points from winning it all. I took second. First was 150. Second was 50. But
that's a major win. That's a major win.
Yeah, but I spit a lot of money at it. I maxed it out because I was up so much this year. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna, so last week I love Robinson. Let's just max it out, and Dobbs, let's just take our chances.
Have you always maxed out? Because in the past you haven't. Yeah.
That one, not that $15 one. No, I've maxed out the 50-cent ones, the $3 ones, sometimes the $5 ones, but never the 15.
So by the way, Alicia took down a DK Millionaire Maker, and you came in second in basically a FanDuel Millionaire Maker because that's their big tournament.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Congratulations. I couldn't be any happier for you. Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Awesome. All right. Let's take a look at this weekend's games. So let's just break this down, Trevor. I am playing entirely on DraftKings this weekend. I don't like how FanDuel basically broke it down into different days. I like to just get the slate as a whole. What's your feeling on that?
Yeah, I'm not gonna play much FanDuel at all. I will play some of the Sunday slate because I do like 3-game slates. I won't play the Saturday slate by itself. That's just too low for me. But yeah, I'll play just very little FanDuel. I want to play more of the 6-game tournaments.
Yeah, I think I like more opportunities, more. Got to be. Showdowns. You got to be right. If you miss one thing, it's over for you. So.
And plus, there's one guy from each day that I really like, so I want to have all 3 in my lineup. So that makes a difference too.
All right, so let's get to it. Let's break down the games. The Chargers are going to the Texans. This is a 42.5 spot. Probably not the game that you'd want, but you can throw on the Texans. Can't really run on the Texans. Conversely, the Chargers defense is pretty good, Trevor. I mean, this doesn't feel like a game where I'm going to be looking for a lot of my pieces. What about you?
Yeah, the one main piece is Ladd McConkey. He should be priced well over $7,000, and the fact that he's still in this 60-some hundred range, I really like McConkey. He's good for 8 catches a lot of weeks. So that's the guy I really am zoning in on in that game. Really, the Texans, you could go with Nico. The thing about the Texans, they are going to be lower owned in a slate like this, but I'm not going to have many Texans at all.
See, I agree with Danger here, who, by the way, Danger, I know you're listening. I hope you feel better, my friend. He couldn't be here tonight. He was got a bad disc problem in his back. I think the Chargers are winning this game for sure. I don't think it's out of the question, Trevor, that the Chargers could go to Kansas City and win that game too, by the way. That's a sneaky game for them.
Oh, sure. They're good enough to beat Kansas City. Kansas City always finds a way to win in these playoff games, though. That's the problem. But the Chargers can put up a fight.
They can. Now, you said Lad McConkey. Texans, let me just give you a couple. You mentioned Nico Collins. What about Deontay Johnson? Does he have to be involved? Is he a cheap guy that you're looking at all?
Oh, he's a cheap guy you can put in for a price so you can get your bigger players in, because we'll get to the Sunday game later, but the main guy is on Sunday, and he's going to cost a bundle.
I'm just trying to think of other guys in this game I would look at. Would you look at J.K. Dobbins? Would you look at Mixon? Anything there?
No, I think I'm just going to pass on those two for the most part. I'm going to spit out a lot of lineups, so they'll make somewhere. But yeah, for the majority, if I'm playing a limited amount of lineups, I'm not really going to focus on those guys at all.
The thing is, Deontay's 3,500, and that's not a bad price. But there's other guys I like more in higher scoring games. Right. And I just feel like I don't want a 42.5 game where this game could be like 20-16 to me, or 23-17 or something disgusting like that, where I'm like, good game maybe to watch, but not a good game to invest my hard-earned money in.
Right. Yeah. McConkey's pretty much going to be it for me.
All right, let's get to this next one. Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Baltimore's 9.5-point favorite, 43.5 spot. Listen. Normally, you'd say that the Ravens are clearly better than the Steelers, and I think they are. But this is a divisional game. These guys have seen each other before. It's not like the Steelers haven't seen the Ravens. They know what the Ravens are going to do. Are you in on Lamar? Zay Flowers, doubt he's playing. Are you in on Mark Andrews? Likely. Bateman. On the other side of the ball, Pickett has been really bad recently, but Baltimore's a bad defense. What are your thoughts?
Well, if you look at the game, they played each other, 4 weeks ago? They lost by 17, but it was a much closer game than that. There was a Russell Wilson fumble at the Baltimore 3. There was a pick 6 in that game. So it was a little bit closer than you think. Henry dominated in the second half. Without Flowers, you have to figure Pittsburgh's got to sell out on Henry in this game. So, they're pretty expensive. I mean, Jackson's expensive. Henry's expensive. They're just not guys that I'm really looking for. In Pittsburgh, I don't trust them. I could make a case for Russell Wilson a little bit, but there's just too many better quarterbacks in the slate. Calvin Austin does ring a bell for me. He had 4 catches for 60 yards in the last game, and I think that he had a pretty solid game the first time they played. So if he is able to get in the end zone, he's a cheap piece that I might get out of this game.
Bateman is going to be so highly rostered, right? I can't imagine that he's not going to be close to that 30, 35%. I don't think I want any part of that, Trevor.
No, I'm passing on Bateman. I think this could be that scrummy game what they had the first time they played, where it was 17-16 type of game, 17-10.
What about Likely? Seriously, what about Likely? Because without Bateman, I assume that there's going to be 2 tight end. Now, Danger mentions this, which Andrews rakes. I like Andrews. I do. And he agrees with you that the Sims love Calvin Austin, that he's a really good spot and to take advantage of. What's your thoughts on Andrews and Likely, Trevor?
Well, I like them both. I think you can play both. You can have a lineup with both of them in there, and that would give you a lot of leverage because you can put one at the flex. Yeah, so I do like them too.
All right, let's keep moving forward here. Sunday, 1:00, Denver against Buffalo. So, look, I'm going to give you a couple of things here that I see in this Denver game. First of all, Buffalo's Achilles heel, if you will, is going to be their run defense. Secondly, there's a chance that Terrell Bernard, their best tackler, could be out. Denver's going to run this football. Whether it's McLaughlin or whether it's Estime or whether it's Javonte, they're going to run. Any interest in any of the Denver running backs?
No, because nobody really seems to get all the volume. It wouldn't surprise me if one of them gets out. They're all cheaply priced. So if they do score a touchdown, they have a good chance of being in the winning lineup. Just trying to pick one is going to be the tough.
If you had to pick one, who would you pick?
I think I would pick McLaughlin. For some reason, I think he pops up to me because he catches passes. Williams only had 3 carries last week against Kansas City, and they were stomping him, and they still only gave him 3 carries. So
I like McLaughlin. He's a pretty good runner to me.
Yeah.
I think if he was on the right team, and when I say the right team, a team that would give him like 18 touches, I think it's pretty good. Danger says the Bo Nix rushing prop, its best leverage stack is Nix +1. So let's talk about that. I think Bo Nix could be mobile in this game. That makes sense to me. If you were going to play him, would you play him with Cortland Sutton? Would you play him with Marvin Mims? Would you play him with Vele? What would you play him with?
I might play him naked because I just like some of the receivers on the slate. I think Buffalo's pass defense is pretty solid. So I just don't like his passing options. I don't like the receivers for Denver at all in this game. But, they're sneaky. When you think they're not going to do good, sometimes they just crush. But I think Buffalo will funnel it down and make them run.
All right, let's look at the other side here. I think Josh Allen is firmly in play if you want to spend up for Josh Allen. You've got Cook, who's been terrific this year. Shakir is better against zone. Amari Cooper against man. I've got to think Patrick Surtain is going to cover Amari Cooper. Does that make you like Shakir? Do you like Dalton Kincaid? Or would you just run with Josh Allen naked?
I think I'm going to play Josh Allen naked in a lot of lineups, and if I don't have Allen, and I'm going to play Cook in a lot of other lineups. I'm not going to pair the two. The receivers, I do like Shakir a little bit. I don't care for Cooper. And you got Coleman. Kincaid has some interest, but he hasn't done nothing all year. Kincaid he's just throwing money down the drain when you're putting him in your DFS lineups.
He's been really weak, and it's certainly in seasonal leagues too has been a big disappointment. All right, so if you play Josh Allen, where are you going to get different? Where are you going to get cheaper?
Well, if you're playing Josh Allen, you're going to have to probably play him like we talked about Deontay Johnson. You're going to have to trust in him. You're going to have to trust in like an Austin. You're not going to be paying up at wide receiver in too many spots. You're going to have to hope that the median receivers do well. Maybe a guy from Green Bay. I think I'm off the Wicks train. I've been on the Wicks train for a long time. The guy can't catch. Maybe a Dobbs. Yeah, Kincaid 3 catches 32 yards.
Nothing special there.
No.
All right, let's look at that Packer game here.
Yeah.
Packers are playing the Eagles. First question I have for you. I think Hurts plays. Do you think Hurts plays?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt he's going to play. I mean, they're talking about it. He was limited in practice today. The Eagles don't seem that they're too concerned about him playing. So, yeah, I think he's going to play.
All right. Assuming he does, I'm not going to play him. I'm not going to play
A.J. Brown.
I'm not going to play Devonta Smith. I don't hate Dallas Goedert. But Saquon feels like smash spot. But can we pay up for him?
Yes. I mean, he's the guy I'm paying up for the most part. He's the guy I really like. I do like Devonta Smith some. He's been playing, but he's had 2 30-point games out of his last 3 games. But that was with Pickett throwing the football too. But I do it. He his price is $5,700. So he gets that 20-point game. Green Bay's defense, I don't know. I just don't like their defense. What I'm seeing of late. If they're not playing the Saints, if they're playing a good offense, they struggle. So I'm in on some of these Eagles players, mainly Devonta Smith and Barkley.
The big difference here is that the Eagles' offensive line is so dominant, and I don't think the Packers' defensive line is so great. There's such a mismatch there that I don't know why they would need to throw it a ton when Barkley's just going to bludgeon this team, really bludgeon them.
You would think so. He did the first game. So
yeah.
Barkley just seems like the man you need on this slate.
Let's talk about let's see. A.J. Brown, Sim say 6 for 74 and a touchdown. I'm not against that. I just don't want to pay for that.
Right.
Let's talk about the Packers. Dobbs, I expect to play. Christian Watson gets injured week 18. That guy is just a freaking injury nightmare.
Right.
Do you play Bo Melton? Do you play Malik Heath? Do you play Tucker Kraft? I just I don't see a pathway to Green Bay winning, and maybe I'm wrong. I just don't. I can go over this game a million times in my brain. I just don't see it.
The only thing that worries me about Green Bay winning this game, and I might be rooting for them, but, is that Point spread's only 4.5. That just seemed crazy to me. When I expected, when I looked at the line, to see 7. I expected to see a 7 spot there. But then again, there's a big national push for Green Bay every year. That's why I hate them partly. But they have a national backing. So I just don't think Green Bay's that good of a football team. They've played 5 teams. They've had 5 games against the top team. They're 0-5.
I don't look. I think they should be better than they are. Love has not thrown the ball a lot recently. They're in love with the run. You're in love with the run. And look, Josh Jacobs is going to get the football. I don't think this is the right game to be in love with the run. I think if you don't throw it on the Eagles, but the Eagles are hard to throw on. So if you can't run on the Eagles, you can't throw on the Eagles. What can you do?
And that lack of that big time one receiver, Green Bay doesn't have that big number one receiver. They don't have those guys that can turn out Philly's defense secondary. Minnesota, when they played them for 3 quarters, Minnesota switched it up, went mostly man, and said, "Hey, we're going to let your number 2 receivers try to beat us," and they couldn't. So,
I think Danger's right. If I had to rank the quarterbacks, Jordan Love may not be 11, but he's certainly no higher than 9.
Right.
I mean, maybe I like him more than C.J. Stroud, but I don't know. It's kind of a mess.
Yes.
All right. Let's get to my 2 favorite games in the slate. The Commanders against Tampa. Trevor, I live down here in Southwest Florida. You know that.
Yeah.
I see the Bucs a lot. I think Washington can win this game. I think Washington can really win this game.
I have Washington winning the game. I think they just have a better matchup. I think McLaurin's in play. I think, a lot of their receivers are in play. Ertz is in play. They got, I don't know about the running game so much. I think even Eckler might be in play.
Interesting. Right now, if you ask me, I'm going to game stack this game. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to fit. Mike Evans, I'm going to fade because Marshawn Lattimore is going to be out there.
Exactly.
And I kind of like either McMillan or Shepard because I think those guys might be a cheaper way to get a piece of that game.
I'm out on Shepard. I told you this weeks ago. When I hear his name, I'm automatically out. It's McMillan for me. I like McMillan.
I like McMillan. Cade Otton could be back.
He's back. I kind of like him too. But the Lattimore is coming back this week. He always plays Evans very well. So.
Yeah, I think Daniels. So right now, Trevor, if I was doing a lineup at this second, I'm definitely going to run a Daniels, McLaurin, Ertz stack. That's what's in my brain right now.
Yeah, that makes it hard to get your Barkley and your other receiver that I really like on the slate. But I'll definitely have a lot of those lineups in there.
But you're right about Barkley. I have to have Barkley. What about Bucky Irving? In or out on Bucky?
Out this week. I kind of like Rashad White. I don't know why I like White. Maybe this is a gut feeling, but I think White. I think Tampa's going to be playing from behind. I think White's going to see the field a little bit more, especially if Evans is going to get locked down. Let's see how Lattimore plays against Evans. We can't. We got to put the lineups in before we see. Lattimore's always done well against Evans, so I kind of like White a little bit at his price point as a cheap option to get in your lineup. Because if you're going to play, it's going to be hard to get Irving in if you're going to play Daniels and McLaurin.
Well, I kind of like where you're heading with the Rashad White thing, and so pairing up like White and Barkley. Interesting.
Yeah.
And basically getting leverage off of the Bucky Irving play.
Yeah. And then, Crowder could make an appearance here. The Tampa's pass defense stinks. Crowder's
interesting. Crowder's sure-handed. He's a good player. I just feel like Ertz is in a really good spot, and Daniels likes going to Ertz.
Yeah, he's really shown that he's really trusting Ertz a lot, So, yeah. Ertz is a good play. Now, coming back with Tampa, you got McMillan and you got, maybe Otton, White. You can't go with Evans, really. So,
Otton's going to be – nobody's going to own Otton. Nobody. McMillan is going to be 5,200. I kind of like that. I think that's a – I mean, I was thinking Shepard, to be quite honest with you. I know you hate him, but, I mean, at 3,300 – is that not just a gift?
Yeah, I kind of like that. What's Shepard's price?
3,300.
Oh, Shepard's price. Okay, I was thinking that was Crowder's price. Crowder, what, 3,700?
Oh, let me see. Crowder's 3,400. Shepard's cheaper than Crowder.
Yeah.
What does Sasha think?
She is upset right now. Come here. She is riled up over the whole thing. She doesn't like Shepard either.
Yeah, I mean, look, she's got more dog food than she knows what to do with now after you had that big run. She's going to be eating like a king or a queen. All right, let's look at this last one here. Now, please don't be angry at me, my friend. Please, I'm begging you. I think Minnesota may be in trouble this week.
Yeah, they may be.
It's just, to me, a bad matchup after a game that was a real letdown game.
Yeah.
Because, go ahead.
We'll see how they bounce back. The receivers are going to give them problems. And last time they played the Rams, well, they didn't get any pressure. Now that's going to be the key. Do they get pressure? This game will be a lot different than the first matchup if they get pressure. But if they don't, but they got the player that I want in all my lineups pretty much.
Who is that?
Puka Nacua.
Now, call me crazy. Just asking you. Is this a Cooper Kupp week since the Vikings are bad against slot receivers and they can move Cooper Kupp around and nobody's going to own Cooper Kupp? Because I'm thinking of owning Cooper Kupp.
I'll definitely be playing some Kupp too. Yeah, you can move Kupp around. Like I said, if Stafford gets all the time in the world, Kupp will be a solid play. So, this could be the game that shoots out.
These are two teams that know each other offensively, right? O'Connell knows McVay. McVay knows O'Connell. But Stafford, to me, isn't the type that gets rattled with a pass rush.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, he's not going to get rattled with a pass rush. No, not at all. I just think that they can maybe cause a turnover or two, though, because Stafford will throw it up for grabs. But that's just talking purely as who's going to win or lose. Now, for fantasy purposes, I like Stafford a lot. I think he threw for over 300 yards the first time, 4 touchdown passes, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty close to that. And the Vikings don't have the defensive personnel. If they don't get the pressure, they don't have the back guys in the back end.
All right, let's assume, could you run a Ram double stack?
Sure.
Could you go Kupp and Nacua with Stafford or Higbee? We could use 2 of those 3 guys?
I'm really not going to be on Higbee, but I guess you can make a case for it. You could play Kupp, Nacua, and Stafford. You can also add in Kyren. Kyren had a pretty solid game against the Vikings before too, but Cashman was out. So Cashman's back. I think that limits Kyren a little bit more.
I don't like Kyren at all this week, to be quite honest with you. And, but he's going to get the ball. Blake Corum, guy has one opportunity to start. He gets injured. I mean, what's up with that, dude? Right. What about the Vikings? Let's talk about the Vikings offensively. I would think that the Rams are really tough against slot receivers. Do we call Justin Jefferson a slot receiver? Or is that just not a fair thing to call?
No, that's not fair. They can move him around anywhere they want. He actually had a pretty good game against them last time too. We'll just see what Darnold comes up with. I expect a good game from Jefferson. I just don't know if I can pay up for Jefferson because I really want Nacua, I really want McConkey, and I really want Barkley. So it's going to be hard for me to get Jefferson in there. But I could see a game where Jefferson goes for 140 and 2 touchdowns, but I'm not going to bank on that.
What about Jordan Addison? What about TJ Hawkinson?
I like Hawkinson a lot more than I like most, but every time I say that, it doesn't pan out. But the Rams aren't very good against the tight end. The Vikings had 2 tight end scores against the Rams in game 1. It was their backups, and because Hawkinson was not out there.
Johnny Munt.
I think Munt and Oliver each scored. Those were the Vikings' 2 touchdowns. So I do like Hawkinson somewhat. He's priced cheap enough where if he goes off, he's going to be in a winning slate. I mean, I might have to go with 2 tight ends. I seen what was just popped up, but the Rams don't have that offensive line that Detroit has, as far as with comparing Kyren to Gibbs. And
yeah,
Vikings have really only given up the big games to Gibbs both times.
Kyren runs in between the tackles. Gibbs runs around the tackles.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the big difference because the Vikings come in And I think they're going to be right on Kyron from the minute. Open and go. I think Kyron's in trouble. I really do. I think the only way the Rams win this game is if Stafford throws that football.
Yeah. They won't beat the Vikings just on running the ball. They're going to have to throw the football. I expect the Vikings to be a little more sharp this week too. I just think they're too well coached. It's going to be a good game. I'm going to be nervous.
Yeah, you should be. All right, give me a lineup. Go ahead. You go and I'll go. Well, who's your quarterback?
Well, it's going to be Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford. All right, who's going to be your running backs? Barkley?
It's going to be Barkley, and I think I have now it's taking a while for it to load up. It's going to be Barkley, and it's going to be, I think I have Rashad White in there, which is kind of.
All right. Your receivers, you mentioned Puka.
Ladd.
I
just had the lineup. See, I turned
Devonta Smith?
Yeah, I think I have Devonta Smith in there, yes.
Who's your tight end?
Likely.
All right. Who's your defense and flex?
My defense is the Eagles. I know that for sure.
All right. That leaves you 4,200 in your flex.
I think I have Calvin Austin in there.
Over Hawkinson?
No, in my flex.
I know, but I'm saying you can have Hawkinson there.
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, yeah, I could, couldn't I? I got to redo that. That was a makeshift lineup. So, yeah, I'm going to put Hawkinson over him.
All right, so here's what I have. I have Stafford, Barkley, Rashad White, Puka, Ladd, Devonta, Likely, Hawkinson, and Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You like that?
For
a Wednesday night?
For a Wednesday night, I'm not upset with it. Come Sunday morning or Saturday morning this week, it might be scrapped.
All right, so let's see. I'm going to go Daniels. I'm going to go McLaurin. I'm going to go Zach Ertz. I'm going to go Eagles defense for sure. I love your Saquon and Rashad White idea. Love that. And now I'm going to go, I'm not going to listen to you. Not that I don't love you and you did win a lot of money, but I am going to go Sterling Shepard so I can afford two good receivers. Oh, I'm the idiot who likes Cooper Kupp and I have 5,200. I could get McMillan in there too.
Kupp and McMillan?
But then I have to do some of the Sterling Shepard or get rid of, if I go,
pay down a defense.
You know what? I get rid of Rashad White. Can I go with McLaughlin?
Yeah, I think you can go with McLaughlin or Eckler. I think Eckler's kind of sneaky this week. I think Robinson's going to have a hard time running, and Eckler might be fresh here.
That's interesting. I'll throw Eckler in there, and then I will go with McMillan because I can. So, but I'm all in on that game. I mean, that is just me basically throwing everything in on Washington, Tampa, the kitchen sink. Let's see. Danger texted me his lineup. He has, let's see. What does he have?
Jaden Daniels.
Daniels, right. White, Barkley, McLaurin, Calvin Austin, Kupp, Ertz, Hawkinson, Chargers.
I like that one too.
He likes what I like.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to get off that Washington game. The lineup I have doesn't really have much of it, so I could really get burned.
No, but that might be brilliant though.
Yeah, you just never know until the games start. But that's why I spit out a lot of lineups.
Right, but if you're going to play the Washington one, I think you kitchen sink it.
Except minus Evans.
Right, you kitchen sink it minus Evans. You just throw in McMillan, you throw in Otten, you throw in White, whatever it is, just and hope you get the most out of it.
And are you out on Irving too? Are you?
I like Irving, but I think I want Barkley more than Irving.
Yes.
I want Barkley in the Eagles defense, and I'll take my shot after that.
You just got to hope that if you really want to hope that they fall behind Tampa, so they use White a lot more.
Right. Which could easily happen.
Yeah.
So I think Jaylen Warren's a good play. If they're losing at Baltimore, he's a good play.
He scored 20 points against them in fantasy a couple of weeks ago, or 18 something. He's a good play too. We'll see what I'm going to look at DFS Hero a lot once Friday comes up. They'll really have a good tight sound on it, and we'll see where they're at it too, because I like to use that, and I kind of bounce stuff off of danger. But we last week was a lot easier because to me there was just the lock play at Bajan and the lock play on Dobbs for the most part for his min price, and luckily Dobbs come through. But this week, you've got 6 games. It's hard to get different because you're playing with a lot of people. But I did well on Thanksgiving too, so in a 3-game slate, so I'm not that worried.
Well, you've been smoking hot this year. I think though, whether it's going Kupp instead of Nakua, McMillan instead of Evans, there's little things you can do to get different here.
Yeah. You just gotta hope they come through. I do like Austin. I do like Calvin Austin. I do like him. I think he's gonna have a good game.
I mean, that's a way to get off Sterling Shepard, who you hate.
I'll take Calvin Austin over Sterling Shepard every time.
Yeah. All right. So that's why you're my rich friend, and I'm just trying to be. I'm a wannabe rich friend.
Well, at least when we do spring training, I got the tickets covered.
I appreciate that. I'm telling you, I'm taking you to JetBlue Park. I'm not taking you to that the Twins dumpy stadium. It's like an oven in there.
I'm done with the Twin Stadium.
Oh, when you go to JetBlue, you're gonna be like, "This is how exhibition should be."
I just wonder how much more the beer is.
Could be an extra $1. Totally worth it. Totally
I got my sister driving, so who cares?
There you go. All right, everybody out there, check out Friday Night Lights. We'll be back there. So helping Trevor out, Willie Walls and the Swami. And then, of course, on Saturday, SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. All right, my friend, I hope you win another 50K this week.
Well, good luck to you, too. I'm going all in on the Millie Maker on Sunday.
All right.
Might as well.
Might as well. You got it. Might as well flaunt it.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody out there, be well and take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.